Hey, welcome back, everybody. My name is Chris Anselmo with Brookside Tax and Financial Group. You're listening to The Road to Retirement. And with us is our co-host, T1 and T2. You ever see those Thing 1s and Thing 2 T-shirts?
Oh, yeah.
We should be wearing them,
Tony Shore is our host, and Tony Marlette Jr. is an advisor in our office. So glad to see you guys.
It's great to be here. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Thanks, guys, for having me.
Is it how bad is it in Minnesota? It's going to be 90-something today here, which is one of the rare 90 days in Cleveland.
2 days ago, we had our hottest day that I remember living in Minnesota. It was insane. It was, I think the temp inside my garage with the door shut was 97, and the humidity was 80-some%. It was really hot. Yeah.
Yeah. So when we talked about a little bit, I went out west for that conference we had up in Park City, Utah, and then on the way back we had to fly back through Vegas. So I stopped at this one gas station, and I was trying to be fun. It was 106. So I'm like, man, it's like a desert out there. And the lady goes, "Oh, this is nothing. It's only 106."
It probably literally was a desert.
That's what I was trying to be funny about it. So, hey, Tony Jr., we were talking about, with everything going on in the market right now, where's maybe a place for safety? So we haven't done a show on annuities in a long time. So we thought maybe we would start with that, and just, my phone's not supposed to be ringing, but that's okay. Basically, first of all, what is an annuity? So for the listeners, the basic thing is you have a contract with an insurance company to provide you some type of financial benefit. So most people that don't realize is that anyone on a pension, those are annuities. Your employer gave money. Yeah. Your employer gave money to an insurance company and said, look, pay Mr. Marlette $1,000 a month for the rest of his life. So they had to give him a big chunk of money. And they started what we call an immediate annuity. So, and we've been using them as just safe havens for where to put some money, either get it out of bonds or just get it out of the market. Right, Tony?
Yeah, exactly. So, and really on a bigger scale, Social Security is just a big annuity too,
right?
That the government provides. So some people may be saying, well, if I get into an annuity, say if I'm in my 50s and I just want to stabilize my portfolio, I don't want the income right then and there.
Correct.
And you do not have to take the income right then and there. It just is a way to stabilize your portfolio, build a little bit, and then eventually at some point you get a guaranteed income stream that for a certain amount that you cannot outlive if you choose to take it.
I'm going to attempt to share my screen.
Yep.
I just did a little thing.
If you hit share.
I did hit share.
All right. And then I can hit add when it comes up, but nothing's coming up right now.
Okay. Let me see if I have.
There you go.
There you go. So you all can see that, I hope. I don't know what you're all looking like, but I don't know if you see us or you just see the annuity screen. So basically 5 types. Actually, there's only 3 types of annuities, but there are different statuses. So Tony talked about like a pension or Social Security. When you first start collecting payments, if you open the annuity now and they give you payments, it's called an immediate annuity, right? Your payments are going to start now. Most people have deferred annuities. Probably 99% of them are deferred annuities, such like Social Security you're paying into all those years. Or as Tony mentioned, you might buy an annuity when you're 50 and you're putting money into it over all those years. Then eventually when you retire, you're gonna take some type of payment. That's a deferred annuity. So Tony, what's a fixed annuity?
So fixed annuities, they, as the screen says, pay a stated rate of return or a stated rate of interest. Now, some people compare fixed annuities to CDs, and they're not wrong. But annuities have some major benefits, including tax deferral. And what that means is
absolutely
you can roll CDs. I used to work at a couple of banks. You can roll CDs. We saw people roll CDs for year after year after year 6 month
They don't want to
periods.
they don't
at
want
a
to tie them
time.
up. They don't want to tie them up
Right.
for 5
And
years.
then here's the thing. It's you can move it into a new CD. It's still taxable. All that interest or whatever interest you're getting is taxable, even if you move it into a new CD. The advantage with the fixed annuity is it's tax deferred until you withdraw the money. So you can build, and it doesn't have to be part of a retirement account. You can build and build your assets, and you can continue to accumulate growth as long as you keep the money going from annuity to annuity to annuity. The interest and whatever is earned is not taxable until you withdraw it.
So there's tax benefits to that type of annuity, and a fixed annuity. Another big part of it is obviously you put the money in, and you can the interest. I think is the big difference between if you're talking about CDs. CDs don't pay nearly as much interest as a lot of fixed annuities, right?
Correct.
That's correct. Yep.
And as a CPA on the podcast or whatever you call these things, I got to tell you, they are tax deferred, but you have to wait till you're 59 and a half to take the money out, or you will pay a penalty. So
right.
to the
That's
IRS.
A good point.
So if you open one when you're 50, look, you could take it out before 59 and a half, but if you do, you're going to pay a penalty on the income up to 10%.
Just like you would on a 401k or an IRA. Yeah,
correct. There are some exceptions, but for generally it's 59 and a half right now. So
yeah.
Variable annuities are different. Variable annuities are actually participate directly in the market. So for the conceptually, variable annuities we're not supposed to call them mutual funds, but they're called sub-accounts, but they're like mutual funds, but they have some type of insurance wrapper. Either it's going to benefit you for income or maybe a death benefit. So there's an insurance component to the product. So you're paying, not only are you paying for the sub-account or mutual fund expense, you're also going to pay something for the insurance benefit. Now, some people hate them, some people love them. There's a million of them out there, so there's no right or wrong answer. We've used them plenty in the past where they worked out well. Death benefits, when markets were down, the death benefits actually paid a higher rate. So there's no right or wrong answer for any of these, and none of them are good or bad, or just because. Like you go to your Ford dealer, he's going to tell you not to buy the Chevy, right? So if you go to the Chevy dealer, he's going to tell you not to buy the Ford. So it really depends. So there's none of them are horrible in and of themselves, but it depends who you're talking to. And the one that's really been prevalent probably the last 15, almost 20 years now is the last one, Tony. And I think, Tony, sure, you deal with a lot of advisors that use fixed indexed annuities.
Yes. Yeah. I've worked with a lot of folks, and that seems to be a really popular retirement vehicle for a lot of the baby boomers over the last 5-10 years that have been retiring. And you guys have seen that. Fixed index annuities seem to be the most popular of these because they've made a lot of changes to them. And I think the reason variable annuities have a bad rap compared to fixed index annuities, and I'm going to ask you guys, and Tony, you might be able to address this, but variable annuities typically have high fees, whereas a lot of fixed index annuities have little to no fees, right?
Yeah, agreed. I think that's why when people hear the word annuity, there's a negative bias affiliated with it. Some people have gone on crusades against annuities, right or wrong. But a lot of times, if somebody comes in and they say, well, I heard annuities are expensive, or I heard they're risky, or I heard they're this or that, this could be referring to a variable annuity that they've had experience, or somebody that they know has had experiences with, where it's gotten a little pricey. Now, again, like Chris was saying, essentially, cost is just a number in the absence of value. So if you need those things, you're willing to pay for them. If you're not, then you don't. But you're right. Fixed index annuity, Tony, is a good way to participate in the market. The costs are lower. You can add features to it for some cost. But for the most part, at its core, a fixed index annuity is
yeah. So the fixed index annuity is kind of like a hybrid. So your interest rate is linked to a stock market index, but you're not in the market. So yes, you can participate. Now, you're not going to get 100% of the upside because you're not taking the risk. So, but at the end of the day, if the indexes go down, you don't lose any money because you're not in the market. These
So
are
your principal is protected,
Right.
and each year you lock in any gains that become part of your principal. So
Right.
you don't have to worry about ever losing that principal. You're not going to go if the market drops 20%. You're not going
Correct.
to lose 20%.
Right, because you're not in. So
Yeah.
so I tell people, look, at its essence, you're loaning the insurance company money, and they're paying you interest. Now, your interest may be based on the stock market, but at the end of the day, it's interest only. So similar to a fixed annuity, but the fixed annuity just has a flat rate of interest. This one has an interest rate that will change, but never negative. So now variable annuities, the upside of variable annuities is like you could have a 30% year, right? So the fixed index annuities in concept is the insurance company is borrowing you money. Let's say you buy a 7-year annuity. They're borrowing your money for 7 years. They're not going to pay 30% interest to borrow your money, right? I mean, who's going to pay 30% interest?
Yeah.
But if you were in the market and got gains from the market, then it's feasible. But if it's just a flat or fixed index annuity, I would say on the average, they probably over the course of 7 to 10 years, they probably average 3 to 6%, maybe 3 to 5%. But
Yeah.
compared
They
to
outperform
Yeah.
CDs
Yeah,
or
but-
putting
yeah,
the money
sure.
in the bank, and they have
CD
the same safety.
and they're tax deferred. So
Right.
so if you have a 3% CD where you're paying taxes every year, if you can find a 3% CD, if you could let's say you had 3% CD and you're paying taxes every year in it, and you had a 3% indexed annuity, the index annuity is going to make more money overall because you're not giving that tax money to Uncle Sam every year, and that
Sure.
money could also earn interest. So
Yeah, and there are guarantees associated with annuities. They're different. It's a different type of safety than the bank. I mean, the guarantees are based
Right.
on the claims paying ability of the issuing
Right.
insurance company. But you guys work with great A-rated companies and that have been around a long time. So I think that's a big advantage right there.
and I think I know here in Ohio, and I'm sure it's probably can't say 100% for sure, but probably every state has a similar. We have a fund here in Ohio to back the insurance companies up.
Yeah.
So if the insurance company would go out of business, I think there's coverage for $250,000 per account per person at an insurance company. I don't recall, other than one time, that anyone's ever had to use that insurance. The one that I remember was I think back in the late 90s, a medical malpractice carrier went under, and the fund stepped up to give the doctors insurance.
Sure.
But I
it
don't
wasn't
ever,
a fixed index
Yeah.
annuity.
I don't remember
Yeah.
ever remember a insurance company going under that they had to kick in for this. But I could be wrong. But most of the times, the insurance companies get bought up by other insurance companies, right? So,
Yeah.
but the benefit of these annuities are like fixed annuities and fixed index, and the safety of them, right? They are just going to pay you interest. You're not going to have market risk. And variable annuities, have their place. Like I said, if you talk to the guy who's only selling or providing fixed index annuities, he's going to badmouth variable annuities, but they do have a place, and they can be expensive, so you have to be careful. And maybe we can use one, maybe we can't use one. I mean, again, there's no right or wrong answer for all, but you should consider those in your portfolio, especially with the market.
I think the point you're making there, Chris, is a good one. I'm going to jump in here and say that it reminds me of what my dad always told me. If all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. And I've said that before on the show, but it's so true. And I think there's so many so-called financial professionals out there that if people go to somebody who just sells insurance, an insurance company, and they say, we've got this type of annuity, they're going to try to shoehorn them into just an insurance product like life insurance or annuity. But you guys look at the big picture and talk about investments in the market. You talk about life insurance. You talk about annuities. You talk about taxes. So you're looking at the big picture, and that's the big advantage of an independent financial services professional, right?
Yeah, I use the analogy with clients sometimes. I'm like, Tony, you were supposed to bring the fruit salad to the party tonight, and you stop by the apple orchard, and you said, well, okay. He says, well, we got red, green, or yellow. He said, well, but I need cherries. We have red, green, or yellow apples. But I need plums. We have red, green, or yellow apples.
Yeah.
So whatever so if you go to the one guy who's just selling fixed index annuities, guess what you're walking out with?
Yeah.
I mean, so they're not, there's no magic pill or cure for everything. So that's
Sure.
why you got to have the cornucopia of products so that you can, if you want cherries or oranges or whatever, you can get them. But if you go to someone who's limited by their licensing of what they can offer you, like I said, if you go to the Ford dealer, you're gonna come out with a Ford, right? So
Right.
nothing wrong with Ford, but I'm just saying, what if you wanted a Corvette? Well, we don't have Corvettes at Ford, right? So, so you just got to be cognizant of who you're doing business with, because you want to make sure it's in your best interest. And as fiduciaries, we always, I understand these commercials like, we're fiduciary, we have to have your best interest. Shouldn't you always have the client's best interest in mind, no matter what your title is? But
I would hope so.
Yeah. So we've been using index annuities probably for the last 15 years. At first, we were just trying to beat CD rates, right? So when people were, I have clients that just love the local bank, and their grandparents have been there, they've been there, they're not moving. But the banks are paying them 0.25%. And like, look, you could get 3 over here, and we could use A-rated carriers. Why would you do that? Then Tony, we talked about we using them for bond replacements, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I think a lot of people are familiar with a 60-40 portfolio approach, and just data wise here, and 60-40 portfolio approach refers to 60% of your portfolio in the market and 40% meaning stocks, and then 40% being out of the market, meaning bonds. Well, when interest rates rise, the prices of existing bonds fall. And that's what we're seeing now. So if the stock market's falling, which it is, and the bond market's falling, where is your sweet spot for safety? So from 2000 to 2010, the 60-40 portfolio earned 2.1%. And when you factor in inflation, it was negative 0.5% from 2000 to 2010. Now we had a really bad 08, 09, and 10.
Sure.
Correct. All right.
2011 to 2021.
And we had 2000. We had 9/11.
The beginning of the century. Right. 2011 to 2021, that same 60-40 portfolio earned 11% and 9.1% when you factor in inflation. So that one is more recent. It creates this recency bias where people are like, you know what, my bond portfolio was done really well. Well, guess what's happened since 2021? Interest rates have skyrocketed. They're going to continue to go up. We see bonds doing almost as poorly as stocks. So this is something that Chris and I know Tony, a bunch of other advisors that we're affiliated with, have been doing, is replacing the bond portion of your portfolio with a fixed index annuity or a fixed annuity where you don't lose any value. And you can still participate in some of the earnings, and it's not affected directly anyway by interest rates like bonds are. So it's a replacement for a bond portfolio.
And this type of environment, Tony, sure you've heard this, zero is your hero, right? So when the market drops 20%, you get zero. That's a good thing. You're like, but I made zero.
Well, technically,
that's a good thing.
You saved 20%.
Yeah, right. So, on part of your portfolio, if we can get zero as a hero, and we can make, 3 to 5% on that side of the equation, and then pick quality stocks on the other side in the 60 portfolio, I think that's probably a good mix. And generally, when we use our money managers, they're gradient. Like we're always believers, just buy quality. Right? There's no sense buying these fly-by-night companies hoping that you're going to earn 2 or 3 more %. Just buy the quality companies that pay dividends, and like the Googles, the Amazons, the IBMs of the world. Look, if they're all having problems, everybody's having problems, right? So, so we want to use it. And then, so Tony, people can't. We haven't annuitized. I don't think I've ever annuitized an annuity. So annuitizing is, and this may be where they get the bad rap from. So let's say you have
Right.
$100,000 in an annuity and you annuitize it. That means you're foregoing your $100,000. You're giving that money to the insurance company, and they're guaranteeing to pay you a stipend, probably monthly, for the rest of your life, or maybe the rest of your life, or term of years, or whatever it is. So, based on how long you want the annuity, your payment is going to depend on the size of your payment, right? If you want it for 5 years, it's going to be bigger than if you want it for 10 years, right? So, but because internal interest rates were so low in the annuities over the last decade or so, we didn't think that was wise, because we thought, look, you could just peel off 5% a year or whatever for the rest of your life and still keep your money, right? So, because unfortunately we've seen it. Somebody gives, especially a single person, they give the $100,000 to the insurance company, and they die 3 years later. The insurance company keeps all the money, right? Because you chose to pick the monthly payment. So the other way is just we take our free withdrawals, and then if there's any money left in the contract at the end of your life, then it just goes to your beneficiary. So I don't think I've ever annuitized an annuity.
Yeah, I know a lot of advisors say the same exact thing. I've read a lot and talked to a lot of people in the financial world, like yourself, Chris and Tony, like yourselves, and they say that same thing. They don't. A lot of them say they won't. They don't believe in it, like annuitizing. So
yeah, and then ultimately, that's if you think about a traditional pension or Social Security, that's what it turns into. If you just have Social Security, you can't call the Social Security office and say, "Hey, send me $10,000 in a lump sum."
Oh, true. Yeah,
it just doesn't work like that. So
once you
once you
annuitize it,
start that's your income, and you have to rely on other assets for those one-off withdrawals.
So Tony's saying, if you and they said, let's say they're giving you $500 a month, you can't call up and say, "Look, I need another $1,000 this month." Your money's gone. The contract with you, the insurance company, was, we're going to give you $500 every month for the rest of your life. That's it. So maybe some have some cost of living increases and stuff, but you forego the lump sum. So I don't kind of like that.
So if you have a fixed indexed annuity and you add a lifetime income rider, is that different, or is that what you're talking about?
That is different, because the income rider will still generally, it depends how long you live, obviously. So it may still have money left at the end of the rainbow. So if you lived 110, there's not gonna be any money left.
Right.
But if you died early, you died at 70, and there's money still in the hopper, then that money that's left over is going to go to your beneficiaries. So the income
you're
riders,
not giving up the lump sum.
Right.
So there's a difference there. And I think people get confused. If you want, I know a lot of people have done, my neighbor has a fixed index annuity, him and his wife, he's retired, and he got the lifetime income rider. He pays a small fee. It's not a lot to have that rider. And then he gets a guaranteed monthly payout for his life, no matter how long he lives. And if there's anything left of what he put in or gained during that time, that's paid out to his beneficiary.
Correct. Yeah. So, the income riders are there, I think, more for peace of mind. Like, I know I'm going to get my $500 a month for the rest of my life.
Sure.
Versus having to go in every month and pull out some money, because sometimes people pull out a little too much.
But I mean, if
it's something, if somebody doesn't have a set income stream, and they want to replace potentially a pension that they didn't have or never had access to, it's a good thing to use that with, because the market performance doesn't matter. The income base is going to get a credit every year, and that's what they base withdrawals off of.
And the market
but why not? If you can just take money out every month, why not? Why would you annuitize? I guess
Yeah.
And we don't use a lot of income riders, but for some people, they want that security, and then so for that person, it's fine, right? But at the end of the day, as long as there's money left in your contract, somebody's going to get it. Versus Social Security, which that's one of my pet peeves. I mean, that's not inheritable. It's just, I mean, because how many people die early and never get it?
Yeah.
I mean, it was funny because
if it was inheritable, the system would go broke way before it's supposed
That's
to go
true.
broke in the
Yeah.
next 15 years or whatever.
Yeah.
my wife printed out my Social Security statement the other day for some reason. I don't know why, but it was laying on the.
Uh-oh.
So, but if you open it up,
Did she also have your life insurance
Yeah.
policy?
but if you open it up, I think on the second page at the bottom left-hand corner, it shows how much you've paid in and how much your employers paid in over the years,
Yeah.
towards your benefit. And since for most of my career, I've been the employer and the employee, right? I paid in both sides, so I've paid in close to $600,000 towards Social Security.
Holy cow.
I'm never gonna get that out, right?
No.
So why
The
isn't
odds
that
of you getting that money
why
back?
why
is
isn't
not
that
good.
inheritable? Like, I mean, I'm 59 years old. I could die before I ever get my Social Security. I mean, my wife would get it,
because
right? But,
because government.
yeah, because if I was
Because
single,
government.
and I'm sure all of us know people that have died even before they got their first Social Security check, and if they were single,
Oh, sure.
the government keeps all that money. It just
Yep.
doesn't seem kosher, right? But they'll spend money on
well,
Mars.
thank you.
That's where they get that money for Mars.
I'll
Right?
tell you, Chris, I'm going to tell you what my mom always told me. Life isn't fair, son.
Okay,
Life isn't fair, Chris. That's just the way it works.
but we built the system. You think you
Right.
think we could have made it fair? Right?
It's a government by the people, and yet
but not for the people, right? So-
right.
Huh?
That's the problem.
Okay, so annuities do have a place, either for safety or income, or we talked about bond replacements. We most of the time we use them for bank replacements because like for the last decade the banks have been paying nothing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean,
And
we have
even
people
with
that have,
interest rates rising,
Yeah.
you look at CD rates; they haven't gone up in conjunction with those Fed rates.
yeah, I think
They're
I was
still
at the,
not paying very
I
much.
think I was at the bank the other day and it said we have like a 4-year CD at 1.25%. I'm like,
Yeah, they've crept above 1.
And one thing we didn't, I know we're running out of time here. Annuities are a little bit more accessible than that CD too. If you
true.
take out 1 penny of that CD in that 4-year time frame, you're going to pay a penalty on it. With an annuity, most annuities anyway, you have access to 10% of the contract value.
yeah, so at least
10%
5
a year.
Yeah,
for
5%
good
per
annuities.
year. Yep.
Yeah.
Or 5%. Yeah.
5 to 10 depends on
5 to 10
depends on what you
depending
get, but
on the carrier.
it's access that you otherwise wouldn't have.
Right.
But don't access until you're 59 and a half.
Right.
Right. It's just like any other retirement account.
But sometimes you have to, right?
Yeah.
You have something going on in your life and you have to. So I think we're running out of time.
Yep.
If you need to talk about annuities, Tony, you could throw a number up there. And,
Yeah, I will. And before we go, there's our number and our website on the screen. We put this content out for the podcast. We do the market updates. We do webinars. None of that costs anybody anything. The cost for us or the payment for us would be if you click, comment, like, and subscribe. So our phone number is on the screen. Our website is there. You can schedule an appointment online as well.
Go to our YouTube channel.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
And,
and I'm
and
gonna-
subscribe and like.
For our listeners out there who aren't watching, that phone number, you should give Tony and Chris a call and set up that no charge consultation. The number is 440-886-3550, or just contact them through the website, which is easy, brooksidetax.com.
All right. See you guys.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen.
See ya.